Welcome back to another Needlessly Nostalgic. I'm your host, Tyler Nichols, and I have my other host here, Lance Vlcek, with me. Lance, how are you doing this fine evening?
Yeah, can't complain, living life, waiting for the new year, buddy. How about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I'm trying to go through all of the movies that I've missed throughout the year, which isn't that many, but it's enough where it's like, there's a reason that I left them till the end of the year. So it's been kind of brutal. I mean, there's been some really good ones, but I also watched Priscilla last night and do not recommend.
No, I was suspicious because I noticed a lot of people were automatically saying how amazing it looks. I don't know, there's that weird turn against Austin Butler that I didn't really care for, where people, like, he was getting so much praise that, there becomes the contrarian, which is, I'm kind of a contrarian, I'll admit it, but I noticed people were like, oh, this is what Elvis is supposed to look and sound like. Like, thank God we're getting real Elvis. I'm like, guys, it's not even out. Like, let's take it a step back. Let's get a minute.
And I'll say, not once did I not see the actors just playing pretend. You don't ever feel like you're in that world. It never feels like you're seeing Elvis. Because they also don't have any Elvis music in it. So, yeah.
That's a tough one. But it could work if the actors pulled it off. If you're saying they didn't and there's no music, it's like, so, yeah.
The girl who plays Priscilla there's a scene where I was like, oh no, she's bad. Oh no. Because she was like been real quiet up to a certain point. And then when she finally has to like give it, I was just like, not good. But yeah, that's how my time has been going, but that's why I'm very excited to be able to talk today about the fifth installment of Friday the 13th, because I know that this is one that not many people are a fan of, but I quite enjoy it, and I quite enjoyed my viewing of it this most recent time. But we started something, was it last episode, that I like to do, so the Scream Factory edition of Friday the 13th 5. It is the most disappointing, I think, of all of them in terms of the reversible cover.
I don't understand this because, and I'll be honest, I used to hate the original cover a lot as a kid because it just wasn't the right mask. It's still the cover. And what bothers me is both of these covers aren't the cover. Because the outside one is Jarvis kind of hauntingly in the corner with a bunch of text, if Jason still haunts you, you're not alone. I'm like, okay. And then I reverse it, and it's just that exact text with the Friday the 13th logo, New Beginning at the bottom. I'm like, what? That's not even reversible. You just got lazy. You just cut half a poster off. It's not reversible. Like, one of these covers should be the original cover. I don't like that.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, and that's why I have whatever it came in. I didn't take the reversible, because it's like, what's the point of this when they had so many cool ones before? Like, why? It's the same thing with the Jason X. Like, why? Why just do the same cover? Why not just do a cool fan art or just something and as just a way to change it up? And I mean, I love the original artwork. The original artwork is great, but this one, it just doesn't hit. Like, I mean, remember that crappy Jason mask that doesn't make sense because it's not a mask we've ever seen in the franchise.
Which is why I've always hated it, but it's still, but that's what they sold it on.
That's the cover.
That's the cover. Yes. Somebody out there likes that. I know they do, because I'm pretty sure I saw, is it in the Friday the 13th game, or is there like a professional mask of it sold? I just saw it somewhere, came out that was like announced maybe a year ago or something. And I was like, okay, it has its fans, and I support that, man.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It more reminds me of like a parody of Friday the 13th. So I understand people not liking it, but I also just think it's so ridiculous that I kind of dig it. Especially because you can even see the like red backing that they put in the eyes.
Yeah.
You can like see the texture of whatever material they used for that, the plastic, but it's hilarious.
It kind of reminds me of the part in Christmas Vacation where Clark Griswold puts on the Jace mask and he has the chainsaw. Like, it looks exactly like that off-brand Voorhees mask.
What was that series? Wasn't it called like Bloody Murder from like the early 2000s that had this same mask design? Because then they had Bloody Murder and Bloody Murder 2. They are some of the like most low budget, awful schlock.
Oh my God. I haven't seen that cover in years. I've never seen them because it looks so bad. I mean, the girl's eyes in the back looks like it was filmed on like some digital, fucking home camera. Wow.
Yes.
Man, you bring me back. Wow.
It's so low quality that I have looked into doing it as a video and I'm like, nope, I can't because it's too low quality. It looks worse than a fan film. So definitely can't. But it's still really funny. I highly recommend checking it out for anyone that has not seen. I think there's just 2 of them. The Bloody Murder series. It's just ripping off Friday the 13th, and it is pretty hysterical.
From 2000, man. Time to be alive, guys. Time to be alive.
Well, let's get into Friday the 13th. Not 5, according to IMDb. It's just Friday the 13th, A New Beginning.
I want to start with this. How would you categorize this? Because it's technically a sequel, but it's kind of a soft reboot. Or would this be a requel? I don't, because I'm saying it's kind of like a mix. It's a medley of different sequel ideas.
Yeah, it's almost. I feel like there's what is the term where you still keep the same canon, but kind of go back to the original. I'm trying to think. It's similar to Saw X in terms of just doing something that it's like, yeah, this could technically be considered a reboot, but it's also just another entry in the series because it's very much like it still like follows Tommy, and this is still the middle story of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. It's just such a different, I don't know, vibe than some of the other films, but it definitely goes back to the mystery of Friday Part 1.
Yeah, the POV killer, how things are kind of shot and framed. That was something I didn't really catch until maybe only a couple years ago. I was like, holy shit, this is very much a remake of the style of the first. Yeah, that's actually the reason that I started coming around to this film a lot, because I realized how much they go back to the mystery of the first film, and I love a slasher that has a bit of mystery to it. But we skipped over. I want to do the Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, released in 1985, and was directed by Danny Steinman, the softcore porn director, and written by Martin Kittredder, David Cohen, and Danny Steinman. Good for him. I'm glad that he was able to get in for writing credit too. And then starring Melanie Kinnaman, Xavier Ross, John Shepard, Tiffany Helm, and we get a little Corey Feldman at the very beginning, which is a good way to start off where this film begins, because if you'll remember from Part 4, it definitely seemed like Tommy would be taking over the Jason reigns. But that doesn't seem to happen. It is funny that Part 4 and 5 end with the same exact plot beat, which is like, Tommy's crazy. It's almost like they did it though in order to make up for the Roy ending. It's almost like they didn't have that originally, and then we're like, oh, this Roy thing is terrible. We have to do something. Just tease it's Tommy. It's like, wait, the whole movie teases that it's Tommy. You want us to... Okay, sure. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll tease it's Tommy. It's one of those things like Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4, which is, I'm glad that they thought they could do it, and I'm always happy for people to try something new. But we would not be talking about this series if Jason actually never came back and it was just Tommy Jarvis. We wouldn't. I don't care what anybody says. You can't switch the character. It's more than a mask.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. It's not nowadays. It's not something that I'm like, because I've seen what had come. But if I had grown up through this, I could absolutely see being annoyed of like, wait, what? Why don't we get Tommy? I want Tommy to be the next one. Have Tommy take over. What the heck? But
great opening though. I mean, and they brought him back, and I think that's a cool tie-in to Part 4. You know, he's having a nightmare, like a childish nightmare, and. Yeah. I always love that this is exactly how they bring Jason back in Part 6. So they saw this, was like, you know what? That's actually pretty solid. Dig him up. It'll be rainy and scary,
Yeah, but I mean, and I like that they have Corey Feldman back, which I'm sure most people already know the story of. He filmed it in his backyard.
Yeah, the front shots and the backs from the studio, right?
The back shots are a stunt woman, and yeah, it is all just filmed. I don't know if it's a studio, but yeah, it's not filmed at his place. It's just the shots of him staring at camera. That's all that he filmed, which I don't have a massive issue with this recasting, but it's really absurd that they didn't just wait for him. He wanted to do it, and he was a burgeoning star, but he was filming Goonies, so they're like, oh, nope, we're gonna have to do something else. It's just like, just wait. You guys waited between 3 and 4. Like, it's okay to not release these every single year. Just wait a little bit.
Which is funny because you mentioned this about how, if you really think about the actual timeline, how weird this is. So we're looking at young Corey, which has been, a year later than part 4 in real life, I'm guessing, right? But he's aged like 10 years. So part 5 is 10 years, right? Like ish past part 4.
Yeah, we're in the 90s for sure. Which makes no sense. This doesn't look like the 90s to me, especially once we get the one girl dancing to pure 80s music in a pure 80s bedroom.
A crimped hair and shit.
Makes no sense whatsoever. No sense at all. But no. I've always liked the whole Tommy watching these guys digging up the grave and like Jason noticing him and coming forward. Because I watched these around the same age. So then you put yourself in Tommy's shoes. It's like, oh no, and he's just like, he's just still. He can't move. He's so scared. And it's great because it also sets up when we then cut to our new Tommy, John Shepherd, because that's all this Tommy is just scared and timid and not like he clearly has really bad PTSD from the whole situation.
Which is pretty respectful of the character, because they usually, especially in the 80s, like you'd like lose your best friend and like your parents, and then in the end you'd be like hugging your girl, walking off to the sunset. Like, they just didn't really deal with trauma. And this is pretty good. I think I did read, though, that the actor, when he auditioned, he didn't know he's auditioned for Friday the 13th, so he played it like real straight, and he played it like with a lot of heart, and so he brought that performance in here, and it's good. It's better than it needs to be, is how I always describe this. Like, he's playing it, he's going through the motions. I know people necessarily don't like this version of him because then you get I'm so bad at names. The guy from part 6, he's in Return of the Living Dead. Tom Matthews, yes. He's the iconic, more like, let's fucking get him. Like I could see why people like that attitude better, but I do like the idea that this is what happens when everybody knows murdered in front of you, and then you have to kill a monster, and then you're just thinking he's going to come back. That's cool.
Well, and what do you think happened to Tommy's sister, Trish? Because she's never spoken about again. She survived the end of part 4, and then we get nothing. She's just, which to be fair, like she's probably off living her life. Like she's doing her own thing, but it is still weird things. It's like, well, this person's alive. Why would you not address that? But this is a series that does that a lot.
Yeah, people are born into the nut. Yeah.
Jenny, Chris got wheeled off or taken off in a wacko van. So it's not the first time this has happened, but it's just weird that there's not really any decisive conclusion to what happened. 'Cause you would think that they would even like a line of Tommy killed Trish. That's why they have him in an asylum. They think he's a danger to others, but they don't even broach it.
No, it's a screenwriting thing. It sucks though because they played well together. So to me, it is one of those, we're losing a decent part. But yeah, like you said, it's one of those things that I don't take as serious because fucking the next one, it's just a different Tommy, different situation, different attitude, different actor, and it's like, so yeah, we keep going on. And he's older in the next one. So that's another like eight years, right? We're in like the 2000s by part 6. I love it.
I mean, you say that, but I would almost say that John Shepard looks older than Tom Matthews.
No way, man.
You really? I mean, I've always felt that he definitely looks older.
No, he has those baby cheeks, man. The baby cheeks.
No, I mean, and I will say, like, because yes, I do prefer Tom Matthews, but I enjoy John Shepard's traumatized version of Tommy. He's spooked, and it works. It works well. I like all three portrayals of Tommy. So
yeah, and they tell a whole story, which I think is actually like important.
Yeah,
like that's cool, and it's not something they didn't plan out. They haphazardly gave an arc to one character, you know?
Yeah, they definitely didn't plan it out in any way. And the one I love that then we see, because Tommy's being taken to Pinehurst, which I think Pinehurst is the perfect setup for a Friday the 13th. It's like they very clearly are tired of doing the camper thing, so they're trying something different. So I like that these are like, well, essentially it's a house for like
halfway house, right?
Teens. Yeah, like troubled teens. But also not just troubled teens, there's like mentally challenged teens here as well, because you have was it Jake, the guy who tries to get laid but then the guy that gets killed as well. They both have something wrong mentally. So
the guy that gets killed, yeah, couldn't read the room. Couldn't read the room and wipe his mouth. It's like, yeah, you weren't gonna live, buddy.
Yeah, so it's like I am very curious as to what this setup is, because it seems like it's like a government run in terms of they get paid, they get like whatever X amount of dollars per head. So I'm very curious as to how this is set up, because even the main guy, he has like a big scar on his face, and he just seems like such a like badass.
Oh, the guy that kills him?
No, not Roy. I'm talking about, or no, not the one guy. Though we'll get into that. That makes no sense. The guy that's the head of the camp. He has like a scar on his face, and
he's like he's tough. He's an open shirt. Yeah, he's living life.
Yeah, I like it. I always like when there's an authority in these movies. Works well.
Well, and the cop. We should say that I do like the sheriff in this. Actually, he's not like as bumbling and overweight as you'd expect. You know, as like in part 2, where he's just like running a mile into the woods into like a dangerous shack. Like I like this guy.
Yeah,
it looks like
it happens later on in the movie, but I do like when he essentially says like it's Jason Voorhees and gives the whole setup. So they treat it like it's so absurd of like, no, like, this guy is dead. Clearly, this is not what's happening. And then all I can think is that's all that's happening in the next 6 or 7 movies. So get used to it. This is gonna be the norm very soon.
It's just the same thing. Yeah, but at least we're acknowledging like it's. I like that Jason's officially. I mean, he's been the boogeyman, but now he's the boogeyman. You know.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, and I want to go back to the introduction of. Well, I mean, the introduction of all the Pinehurst people works all right, but I mean, they mostly just are in a scene and you don't really even get to know them until later on, outside of Reggie the Reckless. I love Reggie. I think he is great. I think especially they set him up so well. I don't know if it's his first line, but he's like, "Hey man, you are one scared cat." And then almost immediately after, Tommy scares him with his masks, which I don't know. I love that, and they then bringing back the mask.
Exactly, he's a special effects guy. That's a detail that I really liked.
Yeah, it's nice. It helps with the recasting, because then you're like, yep, this is still the same person.
No, Reggie's great because Reggie like has that. Like 80s hip hop inflection that I always find charming. And he's like, because he's talking about, you scared of a spider, a black spider. He keeps going on the list, and it's just like, he's just this little kid that's so, surprised by this this dorky white guy, And he has that sort of like tone. I think it's funny.
Yeah. Oh, and I've always heard that Shavar Ross is the like most fun person to like in like the conventions and stuff, because he very much does a lot of a lot of the various conventions, and yeah, he's just apparently a absolute treat on them. So I want at one point I will try and meet the Friday the 13th Part 5 cast specifically for him and Demon.
I haven't. It's funny. I've met I met Roy, but I haven't seen Mr. Reggie the Reckless yet.
I mean, it's funny. I say that, but it's like, and even thinking back, it's like I would like to meet like all the prior film casts before this cast, but still.
Do you got like one of those? Do you have a horror convention in Michigan out there? You have to, right?
They have like Motor City. I think it's Motor City Con, which is like Detroit. We have several, and I'm close enough to like both the Indianapolis and the Chicago Horror Hound weekends, where I mean, I'm sure at some point I'll do it, but I remember going to the Denver Comic-Con back in like 2014, 2015, and it was the saddest experience like I have ever had. I still remember Zordon, the guy from Power Rangers.
Of course.
Just 80 years old, sitting at a booth, like with no one coming, just looking miserable, and like he can barely even like keep his faculties together. Where it was so depressing. Actually, I had a tough time. It changed how I view conventions.
I love that you bring it up because I absolutely love conventions, but me and my sister used to go a lot. But as we've gotten older, like there's been a couple that I felt so bad. Like I was having secondhand embarrassment. And not embarrassment because that makes it seem like there's something wrong, but just more like my heart was empathizing so much with these fucking people just sitting there, sad, all the pictures, nobody's coming. And I was just like, I don't know if I could do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like I think the fun charmness of me being young and just rambunctious to now being older and be like, oh, this poor, because some people get it. Some people are having a good time, but then you also see the people there and it's like, oh man.
Yeah. I'm too empathetic of a person these days to handle that. So, and also that it's an awkward thing too, because it's like, yes, I love seeing, this person from this movie from however many years ago. But then there's a whole sect of people that have been in like one movie that came out like 2 years ago, that then they're doing the convention, like every convention, and making this their full-time job, where it's like, whoa, you need to still go and make movies. Like these people that are doing the convention circuit after the fact, it's like, it's because their career's already over and they're trying to like get some more juice out of the squeeze. Like
retirement.
It's so, to me, which I'm not going to say there's a title I'm thinking of in particular, but I'm just like, go make stuff. Quit relying off this thing you made 2 years ago. Like it's I have a complicated relationship with conventions.
As do I. It's funny that we have the same, because I feel like it's not something most people talk about, which is they are fun, they're great. There's energy I love there. And right besides all that greatness and fun atmosphere is a level of sadness and a little bit patheticness that is so interesting and so odd to experience. It depends on my mood. I've had some of the best times at conventions, and I've been to some where I'm like, oh, I think I'm too old. I don't think I can do this again. I might go and buy like a little, like some cool shit is like, but meeting people is weird. And now it's such a transaction. I'm like, ooh, this is weird. Yeah.
I want to have an actual connection with the person, not whatever this is. I always think of that Best Worst movie, which is all about Troll 2.
Amazing documentary. Kind of brought me almost to tears at the end,
It's very well done, but there's a moment in it where they did like a specific Troll 2 convention, and it was huge and worked well for them. And then they decided that based off that, they would go to this like just generic convention, and they crashed and burned.
They left early.
No one knew who they were. No, like even the guy who played the dad, he's super outgoing, and he's like, ever heard of Troll 2? Like he's like essentially trying to pitch to people of like, hey, people care about us, because it's like, yeah, it's a weird thing because at this other like Troll 2 thing, he was like a superstar. So then it's like, it's that kind of thing, because you go to these different places and it's like, oh yeah, randomly Friday the 13th part 3 just isn't as big in Michigan as it is in Indiana. Random shit like that happens just because of geographical location. So it's a tough thing. That's why I haven't gone back to a convention in 9 years.
It might be for the best.
Probably. But yeah, let's get back into Friday 5. The redneck mother and son get introduced after, because it's once all the Pinehurst. Because I mean, again, I say like the introduction to the Pinehurst kids, but they're just there. We don't really get. I don't even think we get names.
The cast, no, but they come in and the mother and son come in, and she starts bitching about like she doesn't like them there. So she's setting up their troublemakers, and the cute chick and the dude that like all they do is want to fuck is introduced as like the problematic kids. I know you're saying we don't get any information on anybody, but it's like, okay, here's everybody that's going to die. We get and the two people that don't like them and the sheriff that looks like leaving. It's all set up. Yeah,
and then it leads into the like just the ramp up of the mentally challenged kid getting murdered always cracks me up, because it's like, dude, read the room. Read the fucking room. Does not want you here.
He's chopping wood like he's going through like an episode of steroids. So he's like roiding out as he's chopping wood. It's like, stick away. And also, maybe not have troubled kids around weapons. I don't
Yeah, clearly that man should have not been anywhere near an axe. Like what? Whose logic was that? It's like, no, get him away from that axe.
Like, runs a shop, looking around. It's like, we need somebody to chop the wood. Looks around, everybody, the horny kids, the chubby kid, the 80s girl. But he looks at the fucking guy. Looks like he's ready to kill somebody. He's like, you, grab the axe. We got work to do, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's hilarious, especially when you then think about the fact that, which again, what we've already mentioned, Roy ends up being the killer, and why the fuck does the one guy that actually murders his son get off the hook completely? Because that guy gets put in the back of a police vehicle, and that's the last we see of him.
He should have been in the movie,
100%. Why is there not a scene? He's clearly just getting taken to that jail that we then see later on in the movie. Take him there and then have Roy kill him there. It's easy. Like, give us that moment. We don't even get a mentally challenged kid gets killed in this movie, and the murderer does not get their comeuppance.
Nope. Everybody else. Fuck? Two kids who just want to fuck.
Everyone else.
Gets the worst kill, but the actual murderer, he's just going to stand trial, get probably 25, and be out in his 40s.
Insanity. Absolute insanity. Which I also never realized how much they really lean in to the fact that it's Roy. Because
the look.
Because like they do this whole thing where it's like, oh, how am I supposed to believe it's anyone but Roy?
Fucking music changes. He looks all angry and it zooms in slowly.
And then does the fade with him looking, where it's like, well, who the fuck else would it be? But do you remember having any suspicions of like who the killer was? Because
the only memory I had is I thought the twist was it was going to be Jason. I thought that was a twist when I was a kid. Like, oh, I thought it was all red herring.
That'd be good.
And and that's why for the longest time I did not like this, because I couldn't handle that it wasn't Jason, because I've always rooted for Jason. So I was real pissed that it was just some fucking paramedic. And also, and I've said this before, but they film it, shoot it, and they actually have Roy act like Jason, like by busting through doors. So really, it's not like they're not even like, it could be like, they don't put it in any way that it's somebody else, because they give him superpowers later in the movie. So it is just it's a cop out. I always thought this almost seemed like a a last minute rewrite, like it was supposed to be Jason, and fucking, I don't know, they couldn't do it. So like, it's just this guy.
I just thought of a way to fix it, and I've never in my life thought of this. So all you do is during that whole sequence at the end where Pam and Reggie are running away from Jason, you have them come across the grave from earlier.
It's open.
It's open. Not only that, but you have the bodies of the people that we then saw earlier in the film.
So it's like a premonition then.
Yes, Tommy has some kind of connect. That's the thing we're seeing. It's like, oh, Tommy has this connection with Jason that then he was able to see this vision of Jason getting up. Obviously, it's a dream, so him being younger doesn't matter. He can still be a young kid in the dream. But like, there you go. Why not do that? Like, then you have Jason. Then you don't have everyone being so upset about the fact that it's an imposter Jason and ignoring all of the amazing things that happen in this movie.
I think that would make this a far better Friday the 13th movie, but I think we both know the answer. It's that they actually thought they could continue the series with a different person. They really thought that could happen, which I love the 80s optimism, because they would never even try this now, but they're like, nah, Jason's dead and we'll just have somebody else wear a mask. You know?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we had like fucking Bob Shea replacing Robert Englund for Nightmare 2. So yeah, these people just had no idea, which obviously different studio, but this was just the mindset in the 80s was everyone's replaceable.
I was going to bring that up. You make a great point. Like Robert Englund actually put personality to the killer, and they thought, well, we'll just get another guy. So yeah, a mask. It's like, but funny because it's, you know, it is only mask. I mean, every actor in Jason does different interpretation, but we call him Jason Voorhees, and that's our connection.
Yeah,
you know.
And one, because of the style of film, we actually don't get Jason very much in the film because it's all the quick cuts, and we're not seeing where it's not like 3 or 4 where we get pretty much a full view of Jason during a lot of the kills, especially, and even later on, like part 7. I mean, he's in full view every single time.
No, this is it goes back to part 1 where it's just like the arm. It's the whodunit. Yeah, you don't. Yeah. In fact, I believe besides a couple shots at the end, the only times we're actually seeing Jason is Tommy's like hallucinations when he has the red hockey mask marks, because obviously blue is Roy and red is supposed to be real Jason. Yeah, I mean, and it's pretty much until the very end that we finally get to see him, though. And you know, actually, I'll save it till we actually get there. So I want to talk about the greasers and their broken down car, because I think that people are reaching when they say that this is Friday the 13th's first gay couple. I never caught that, and I've seen this a couple times in the last couple of years. It just seems like two douchey greasers. Yeah, friends, absolutely. I think it's one of the actors that brings it up in the Crystal Lake Memories, where I'm just like, I don't agree with that assessment at all. I think that they're just two bros who are, especially with how they treat each other. It's like, yeah, these two don't seem romantic, so I don't understand. That seems like a reach to me. No, because Nick in part 7, which he was also in Subspecies 2 and 3, but the actor, but he's a gay man, yeah. And I felt like he gave off more of that impression than these guys, you know. So we'll get into it all when we get into part 7, but most of that cast was gay and fucking each other, so I think you can pretty much. So it's just thinking, hey, we're just having a good time. Everybody's just relaxing on the set of part 7, huh? To be fair, I think that's kind of one of the through lines for a lot of these films is that there was a lot of people hooking up on set. Which, hey, why not? You're all young. Good. Yeah, more power to you. I think that's another reason why people can view these films as this comfort thing, both because of the film itself, but then also the behind the scenes stuff that, it kind of just makes it like, oh yeah, everyone's having a good time. Yeah, I mean, I wish I was around in the era that I could have been a part of this. You know, just it's like they don't even making movies like this now. It's not the same. You know, it was a different era. It was a more relaxed time. Money was around. You know, home video was starting to boom. It just different times. But yeah, the greasers make no sense. But I love them. They don't make sense. I love that the guy gets killed by a road flare. It's kills for the sake of kills. But I'm very pro that type of cheapness in movies. I love it.
The timing of it is very well done, though, because it doesn't just feel like, oh, we're cutting to this for an extra kill. It does still try and draw out the tension. It tries to add a little bit of story in terms of why they're stuck there. It feels like it's a little more well thought out than you would expect, especially because, again, this film is constantly considered just schlock, which I don't disagree with, but
no. And I feel most of the complaints are just that it's not Jason, which is it's true. That's true. But as you and me always discuss, like watching the greaser scene, it's like those are two fun kills. They do the tension well. Yeah, they play with all the parts they need to. So all the formulaic parts that we love of Friday the 13th are respected here. So it's not like so far off the beaten path that it's a different thing. It's like, no, it is just a reboot, requel-ish movie. And I respect it more for that, you know?
Yeah. When I realized watching this time as to why I enjoyed this one so much, and I think because I've always pointed to just like the kills, but then watching this time around, I was like, the kills, there's a lot of kills, and I think it might be the most of the series, but they don't go too crazy. So then I realized that it's more of the interactions between the kills are amplified to such a degree that then there's an energy to damn near every frame. Even Reggie talking with his grandpa feels just like something. There's just a little more to, because usually these interactions, even I love part 2, but they're much drier. I would say they're more akin to like a real life, what you say in these circumstances, which then can be a little dry. But here it's, again, I feel like the whole status quo is just entertainment.
And I do feel they try a little more, not that they need to, and maybe it's because they knew they were trying to kind of shift gears for the series. But I do feel there's a lot more personality in the characters. I'm not saying it all works. I'm not saying everybody's a great actor. I'm just saying there is more personality. You know, like in between the interactions and just how people are portrayed. I find it kind of, I don't know, I find it charming. Like there's horny couples in every movie.
Yes.
These are two of my favorites. You know, because such a guy's like a douchebag, and they're just like grabbing each other the entire time. It's, as you said, amplified, and I think it works better for me because I'm less bored. As sometimes I am a little bored in between the kills, but it's so comforting. This is one of the entries where I'm not as much because I feel that it does more, or at least tries to.
Yeah. Well, and that's why because I think that's one reason I enjoy going through these movies and doing it in a little more of a studious way. It's because then I'm trying to, it's like I then have the other films to compare it to that I had just watched and just broken down. So then I am able to then break these down further, because then I put on part 5 the most of any film, any Friday the 13th.
Really?
Absolutely. Yes. So this viewing, one of the main things that I wanted to break down was why. It's like, why? Because again, it's like the kills, yes, there's a lot of them, but they're still getting raped by the MPAA here, so we're not seeing a ton of stuff. I literally have a shot from the film pulled up of Juliet Cummins' death where it's a full machete through her chest. You can see blood splurt out like it's through her chest. We don't ever see that in the actual movie. So there's clearly a lot of stuff that we didn't get to see, which sucks. I would love to have seen more. But so then it's like, well, why? And the interactions is pretty much the main thing that I have pointed to. Because even it's not Next, because Next is Roy showing up at the crime scene and just looking more and more obvious that he's the killer.
Most suspicious guy in the world. Yeah. I love it though. I love that he gets the look. They have the framed look of a man like willing to break. You know, it's you know, they really should just lead with it, man.
Well, and I wonder how much of that was added in after the fact, because I know that they were really concerned that people wouldn't remember who he was when they actually did the reveal. So then it's like,
it is kind of awkward reveal. I know we'll talk about it later, but just like how they do frame him. I remember as a kid not really realizing who it was either.
Yeah, I know they had to shoot it twice, so I'm sure that is one of the reasons, is just identifying. They probably weren't able to identify him with the first one. They're like, oh, we got to make sure that some of his hair is visible, because then his hair is a identifier. Shit like that.
Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah.
Some people's faces, they really can like disappear once you get rid of basic, like just a simple thing like, don't show the hairline. So then they just look completely different, which again, you're only trying to get that response very quickly, which his character isn't someone that you're really paying much attention to, just based on who pays attention to the paramedic. Like,
no, especially as they didn't bring him back. Like if he had to come back to get another body and had a line, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a line.
No, this is the last we see of him.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So he doesn't need a line. They should have brought him back again. Like he's, I guess for the whodunit aspect, they're playing it kind of smart. Like, okay, he's suddenly in it. We show him, but it's like we're not actually watching this whodunit. We're just watching this Friday 13th movie. So just bring the fucking guy back. You know, I'm show him one more time. So I'm like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah. Well, and I've been very much anticipating being able to talk to you about this. The cokehead and the waitress. I think that these are some of the most, I don't know, ridiculous. When I say amplified, this is a big reason why. These two are just amplified in every way, with his mustache and just, he wants to just clearly do coke and fuck. And she is excited about it too.
No, I mean, they're actually the two best characters in the movie, because he looks so much older than her, but he's dressed like a man going through a midlife crisis. And I love that she is basically like at work, but technically naked, because she gets dressed and she like gives the tit shot.
It's showtime.
Yeah. It's everything I want from all these characters. I love him because he's so slimy and greasy. It makes no sense. I love her because she's unreasonably horny. Everything about this is my kind. Like, these are the characters I want to follow the whole time. Like, if I were to write one, like, they would last at least 2/3. And
100%.
Actually, as I'm going through this, I got to make a correction because I'm a fucking idiot. They do bring Roy back twice. When they're on the highway, right before the scene, they get a body and they kind of go behind.
That's the scene I was talking about.
I was talking about the first scene when he's at.
I was talking about this scene, so.
Oh, okay. Well, but I'm saying like this is actually what I was bitching they didn't have, because I didn't remember it for some reason. In my fucking man here, Mr. Body, is in the main frame. So they,
it's the greasers. It's the greasers.
Yeah, but I was thinking of the shot where he doesn't have any lines. His son's dead, and they focus on him. Like, I forgot he comes back in this part. So I'm thinking like, well, yeah, that's why I'm not going to remember him. But they actually did a pretty good job and brought him back a second time. So really, they just framed the last shot incorrectly, because they aren't being bad about bringing the killer back a couple times so they could say like, no, he was in there.
Literally I was still agreeing with you earlier with with this second one, with the second appearance in mind, because this appearance is still happening like 25 minutes into the movie or something. Chris,
should have pushed back later. I'll give you that, because it's not too long after his son died. Yeah.
Yeah, we needed to see him again. It's more, and that's daylight again. Like, everything about it. I'm not surprised you've conflated the two scenes together.
I put them all in one scene. Yeah, that was my problem.
Yeah, because they're very much like the same thing. It's the same thing twice. But I wanted more of it. I wanted more Roy teasing. But maybe they had another scene and then we're like, this is way too obvious that Roy's the killer.
Yeah, like, he bring back the creepy paramedic.
I think it's this guy. Well, and technically, gets brought back later because then they find the ambulance and the one other paramedic is dead in it.
Yeah. No, I mean, by the end, yes, that's obvious. But I want to get back to Lena and her pimp boyfriend that's doing coke in the car. And they don't live in a big city. They're just like, where are they going? Like, where's the end destination, you think? Are they just going to go home and screw? Because it seems like they're going out. I mean, why would she even get dressed if they're just going back home?
Dude, do you not remember the casino bar from part 2 that was filled with young people and just was hip happening? There's some shit to do out in this community.
So they're going there. That has to be the only place. I do remember because it kind of looks like it reminded me of something would have been in like Roadhouse, you know?
It absolutely. It stood out to me because all I could think was like, what in the world? I've been in towns like this, and when you go to these kinds of bars, it's just like middle-aged people or older just hanging out, like then giving mean looks to any unregular person that comes in.
Well, my drug dealer friend though, I mean, he looks like he's like 48 with 2 kids. He just bought a leather jacket, you know. That's what I love is clearly the character is written for somebody that had more of a rock and roll vibe. And I'm not saying this guy isn't doing the job well, but I'm not buying it. I love his character. I think it's awesome, but I don't think of him as like this tough fucking drug dealing pimp guy. I think of him as...
The man has no riz, and the woman is absolutely like just jaw-dropping hot. So it doesn't match, but I will say that might lean into the whole them being in New Jersey and Crystal Lake thing. Cause it's like, yeah, this poor girl, she thinks this is the best she can do.
That's a small town hottie, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, girl, please get someone else other than this. Trying to think of even what he looks like.
He looks like a banker.
Yeah.
Like he runs the Chase Bank branch out in New Jersey for sure. But I'm not talking real life. And then they needed somebody to hire, and he was like Bill, who's probably the producer's like best friend's dad. And they brought him in and fucking put a leather jacket. It's like, hey, you're just trying to be cool. Try to be cool. And he fucking hams it up and is not cool. But in being so uncool, he's kind of awesome.
Yeah, there's an actor that he reminds me of that it would not be an appealing comparison, but I have like the mental image of him, but I can't actually think of him. So trying to find it real quick, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Son of a gun. Either way, the guy just looks complete sleazeball, and it works amazing.
Yeah, no, and then he gets the axe to the bald spots, which I think is, you know, gorier. I'd like to be gory, yes, but I think we should put that caveat on any kill, honestly, going forward, that all kills are going to be kind of turncated. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to bring it up every single time. I'm just going to say that's what it is. So I like the idea of the axe and the bald spot.
Okay, I figured out the guy I was thinking of. It's Michael Jeter. He's in The Green Mile. He's the guy who gets electrocuted.
Oh my God. Guess what? I was going to say, he reminds me of the guy who created these sort of the blimp in Waterworld.
In Waterworld? Dude, that was what I was. Oh my God. The only reason I didn't. That was actually. So when I was looking on, looking him up, I was looking him up through Waterworld IMDb because I'm like, it's that guy. Oh, that is hilarious.
Oh, because in the trailer, he's the guy who goes, have you seen dry land? Yeah, that guy. And I know because I love The Green Mile. I oddly saw that a lot in theaters. But yeah, he's got the mouse.
This guy has that same vibe, which I think is why I've always have thought this guy is like almost the same dude. So it's like, I can't imagine him being able to score this waitress. So
I feel like the guy from Waterworld could be pulling some cute tail. I mean, that guy was inventing stuff. This guy, not so much. But Waterworld guy, I think he get her. You know, there's no dry land.
I love too our reference for, I mean, poor Michael Jeter. I mean, he's 20 years past at this point, but like the fact that one of our first polls is Water World.
I mean, if you don't think eventually we're going to talk about Waterworld, motherfucker, I'm looking over and I have 3 copies. I am pro Waterworld. Let's get into that one day, man.
Oh, we absolutely will. I had a whole weekend where I was obsessed with Waterworld.
That's like great, good, as one should.
Bought it on 4K, went through all the behind the scenes stuff. I am officially a Waterworld apologist.
Wow.
I read girl on my computer. I'm one of those people that accidentally reads. If I read something that I'm saying, I might accidentally just say the same thing.
And fuck you, San Diego.
Yeah, exactly. I relate to Ron Burgundy with that. But
well, fuck. Well, all right. Either way, we will, because I'm not an apologist. I've defended it since I was a young kid, so we will dig into it. But we both agree he looks exactly like that guy, and it's funny.
Yeah, and I love, and I wish too, because I like the bald spot death, but then also the waitress gets an axe in the chest, and yes, it's like super quick, but we get this great shot of like it essentially pans up to her with the axe in the chest, and I think it would have been like an all-timer death if they had, or like all-timer shot for the franchise if they hadn't faded out like before you actually get the full like stop on her, or even if it was going to go past her and keep going up, then you do the fade. They just did the fade way too early, where then you don't really, it doesn't sink in of like, oh yeah, we see this girl's crumpled over and the chest, then the axe is just embedded in her chest. It's just cool, and it's over in a flash.
You're right, actually, because it actually starts fading before the pan is finished. So it's like it makes sense. Yeah, if you said if they finish the pan, and then that's the framing, and then you fade from the framing, but it's fading in action. It doesn't work well. That's a good technical call out, actually.
Might be, which to be fair, MPAA could easily be one of those things where it's
sure.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, we showed it all, and then we were able to get away with just fading out while we're showing it. Which, more power to them, I guess.
And right after this, it cuts to something I really like. I'm a fan of this kind of stuff, but it has Jarvis, and he's looking out, and it's just this cool down angle of Jason, daylight, black eyes, fucking axe, just staring. And that's actually, I want to bring that up real quick, because I think it started in 4, but it wasn't always. It starts in this in 6, 7, 8, 6. This 6, 7, 8. And it's that they're framing now that you would never see Jason's eyes. And I think that's actually super important to me, because that to me is, I never found him creepy, but that's intimidating. If I could see his eyes, I never do, because that's a little too human. This is an entity, and I'm more scared of an entity than a person. And I love that he's just out in the middle of fucking daylight. And this is a fear of mine, like in life, I think, if I ever like look out the window and see somebody creepy staring back. And so I know Jason's daylight, but I think that's what makes Jason such a cool fucking villain, is that he looks cool in the daylight.
Yeah, you saying that, it's one of those, I'm realizing I don't really have a preference for Jason, because I'm thinking on it, and it's like, yeah, we do see his eyes a lot in different films, where that doesn't bug me. Like Michael Myers, on the other hand, I never want to see his eyes, ever. Literally never show me his eyes. But then Jason, I just keep thinking of the different times that, like, I don't know, seeing the one eye kind of emotes a little bit of feeling.
Oh my God, you're fucking, that's like half the reason why they get Ken Hodder. They got, what's his fucking face? It's because the director,
Ken Kersinger,
director of Freddy vs. Jason, was like, I want to see his eyes. But I mean, that's fair. But I'm a non-eye guy. Because I always relate my favorite entries with just the darkness. And that starts in this one. So I just want to give a little shout out to part 5, starting the trend that I liked.
Yeah, I like how that looks, though. I mean, this trend starts with an imposter Jason. Just saying.
But in his little memory flashback things.
Oh.
I'm gonna put that as real Jason. It's just it's because technically he has the X mark, and that's, as I've always said, that's important to me.
Yeah. Well, and so we have the famous Deborah Voorhees sex scene, which was originally 3 minutes long and then was cut down to 10 seconds, which, I mean, the poor guy, because it makes him look like a chump because he's over and done with in a flash. But
I mean, it doesn't
also
hold on. Yeah. But okay, even if it was longer, he still immediately goes out to like freshen up. I'm like, what the fuck you doing?
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, he almost seems like disgusted with himself.
Yes. He like runs off right away. This is a great scene though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, especially as a kid.
It's one of those things though, that when I always think of the Crystal Lake Memories, because one of the producers is like, yeah, Danny Steinman off screen going, okay, fuck her harder. grab her boob, grab her ass. Where it's like, yeah, this was pretty much treated like a porno.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I want to see that. Like, let's release the footage, release the Steinman cut.
Yeah, I mean, why not? If we're releasing part 3 in 3D, then I want the full sex scene. Let's actually like give the guy a little more credit, and let's everybody had to do it, you know?
Yeah, I'm a grown ass man. I can see that stuff. I'm fine with it. I don't give a shit. Let's see it all. These people were consenting adults. It's not like it's a bad thing. Like, let's just show why, like, the pure fact that we're never going to get uncut versions of most of the Friday the 13th is such a travesty.
Yeah.
And it shows how much the difference in how movie making has changed, but also it shows how much Paramount just did not give a fuck about this franchise.
No, they didn't respect it, and I'm glad we're past that time, because this was still around the time where it was in the 80s that horror was looked down upon. Like, you're kind of weird if you watched it. It was just one of those like subcultures, and Paramount didn't respect it, and it sucks because my dream is to see a lot of these uncut, and it's like that'll never happen. It's like Event Horizon that'll never happen either. I mean, that's a different circumstance, but it's just thinking of like movies where it's like, it's not even a chance. Like, the reality is 100% done.
Yeah. Same with like the Alien 3 like David Fincher's actual vision.
Yes.
Like, we'll never see it. It's like, we get a producer's cut that's closer, but even then we'll never get to see it completed, which is always a shame.
Yeah.
In terms of this sex scene, there's another aspect of it that I want to bring up, and that is the creeper that's looking at them. I always like that because it almost feels like an audience surrogate, because it's like you're doing the same thing. You're watching this.
It's a good tie-in too from earlier. They bring the guy back. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it wasn't just a weird little setup.
Though they should have kept him they should have kept him around longer.
Sure.
There's no reason to have killed him off before you kill off the redneck people.
Yes.
Because then when he kills off those redneck people, you'd be like, oh, well, I mean, it could have been that ex-con. He wasn't treated well by him, so that would make sense. But they do this too soon, I feel.
That's a good point. He was supposed to be more of a red herring, and they kind of show their hand too quickly.
Yeah, it's like 3 scenes that he's a red herring, and then it's like, oh, well, he's dead, so he's clearly not the killer. They don't do a good job with the misdirections. But
I'd like to give credit, though, because I really never gave this movie much credit on that aspect. I give more credit that at least they're trying to go back to that style, but they're actually formulaically, I don't know if that's even a word, but I'm gonna lean into it. Formulaically doing this as they should. They're just not doing it well, but they are putting in red herrings. They're sort of like, faking out here, and they're setting things here. Like, it's actually more competent than I think I've ever given credit for in terms of the whodunit. It's just not done well, but it still has the pieces there, and I'm going to respect it for knowing that subgenre better than I.
Yeah, they do a decent amount of things with it, but when you start picking it apart, that's when it's like, oh, well, they clearly didn't think everything through a ton. But
no, they had the material, they just rushed the shit out of it, it seems.
Yeah,
but it's a Jason movie, so
yeah, very true. And then we get the the girl gets killed. We don't really see it, but I do like that there's like an implication with the hedge, like the hedge trimmers, that he like has to cut through the nose bone. It's like when he does it, there's like a little bit of that, like I think there's like a chunky like cut when it happens, which I mean, then when you see like the reveal later, it helps that moment out even more, because they don't show much of anything with it, but your imagination does so much.
That kill's definitely cut up. But again, like you said, the reveal helps the part that doesn't show anything. And his thing with the stick is awesome.
It's so good. I mean, and they show some stuff, but it's also a lesson in how much you don't need. You don't need to show everything. All that it takes is, I mean, the brilliant part about that kill is that it ends on not the body, it ends on the murder weapon / hands, with it snapping, like it going around so hard that it then snaps. Yeah. So then that implication does so much more than if, the MPAA wasn't assholes and then we got to see it ending on like, I don't know, the belt thing going further into the guy's face,
snapping his skull like a crack, and he's like stops moving.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, yeah, I mean that would be cool, but I think that's something I always like the implication of a kill, especially when it's not. This isn't a crescendo kill. This is halfway through the movie. We don't need everything. I like when it ramps up. Like that's a fun element, because then you're not showing your hand too heavy, because you don't want to blow your shocking kill.
Don't want to blow your load too early. Just say it.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I was just gonna say blow your shocking kill early though, in terms of like, because there's always like you only get one big gasp. I think that's the lesson that like Spielberg learned from Jaws. It's like you only get the one big gasp, and you don't get that back. So you have to be very careful about when you do it. Yeah. His is the Ben being revealed in the boat. That was like something they added in after, because they wanted that moment.
Okay.
The reveal of like the head appearing in which it's a big moment, and that has always made me look at any moment then like any other moment where I'm like, okay, that's why this happens, that's why this doesn't happen, or why this doesn't work as well, because they just don't balance things as well.
I would agree. I mean, I still think we could have taken a couple more seconds on the belt going in the head, but I do agree that ending with it breaking is because Jason's so strong, which again doesn't make any sense because it's Roy, whatever. But because it's Jason in my heart, because that's how they filmed it. Him breaking is him using all of his strength. So like essentially the actual murder weapon snaps. So like that's a great ending kill. 100% agree. 100% agree. And it's funny you mention that, to tie this back to something Jason Voorhees-esque, is I thoroughly enjoy the Hatchet series, though I think 2 is my least favorite, but I saw 1 in theaters, and one of the first kills, not the first, but like the third kill, is when he splits open the dude's face from
one of the coolest kills.
And it's absolutely, it does this cool little Matrix like turnaround of everything. It's amazing, but no other kill really matches that in the rest of the movie. I mean, some are really awesome, but I'm like, that's a good example of that kill should have been somehow saved later, or it should have been that style should have been done something else, because after that it's like, shit, that's awesome, but fuck, I saw the jaw rip, man.
Yeah, wasn't that? I mean, it kind of happens too with Jason X, with the ice, cryogenic freeze, where it's like, oh, well, there's the best kill. Damn.
It also makes me wonder that they probably don't see it. I don't know how they don't. Because if they saw it more artistically, they would be like, okay, let's put this kill near the very end. Yeah,
I think part of it has to do with, in the writing process, they don't know what the special effects, what the special effects guys are going to bring to the table. It could be something where then that death ends up being kind of a joke, the cryo death, because
it's a good point. It doesn't land well. Yeah.
Yeah. Where then it's like, well, shit, we planned on this being the big thing. So then maybe that's, I mean, filmmaking is very tough. I want to reiterate that when we talk about all of these things, it's always just in that fun, I don't know, critical movie thinking way, rather than like, I could do that better. I could not do that better.
No. Let me add that just so this is out there. We are not armchair referees or whatever you guys call those. I'm having fun, and sometimes I'm being a little bit of an asshole, but in the end of the day, they say to make a movie is almost a miracle. To actually get a movie made and done is a miracle, and I always take that to heart, which is if you can get a movie made, you have done something that very few have ever done. I can sit there and talk about what I would do different, but to get a movie made, it's like I'm not dumb enough to think I could do it. It's like, no, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah. Good. Well said. I completely agree. Because, there's a lot of, we're going to, when we talk about these movies for, an hour to 2 hours, there's going to be some stuff that then just comes up where we're like, this wasn't done well. And it's more of just conversation piece versus actually being like, these people should be ashamed of themselves.
No, I support everybody, man. Everybody's having a good time. That's what movie making is. Even at its worst, it's like, I bet the people had a good time in some way. I mean, you were making a movie, making a cool horror movie. Yeah. I'll pick you apart, but like, I'll still tip my hat,
Agreed. There's a reason that we're covering the Friday the 13th franchise first, because we love it.
With all my heart.
So then, there's something in this movie that I didn't realize until this viewing. Pam taking Reggie to go see Demon really just feels like plot convenience of getting them out of the house. But then they don't do anything with it. No one dies while Pam and Reggie and Tommy too. They bring Tommy along too. It's like nothing happens. I guess the implication is then that, it might be Tommy. But then we already know that it's not, because Tommy was with Pam and Reggie. It's not like he was just like, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom real fast. But then also too, they're leaving. So Pam and Reggie and Tommy have to leave to go meet Demon. So Roy just happens to be where Demon is, because it's far away. It's like, it's not just like, Demon's on the other side of the lake.
How are Demon and Reggie related?
Brothers.
Okay, they're brothers. Okay, because it's such a big age gap to me that I was for some reason thought dad, but okay, brother. That's me. Obviously not catching.
I don't know. I think Demon looks young. I could see him as like 19, 20.
Oh man, I look at it. He looks like 32 to me, but I was thinking he'll look older. It's they just go. It's just to probably introduce him to kill him. I mean that's what this is. It doesn't make any logical sense but I feel like none of this does if you think about it.
Yeah. Well, and I should say too, Demon is the best. I love Demon. I think probably some of it has to do with the fact that this is Spider from Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah. And he plays he plays like the same way. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think you can kind of lean into that a little and like carry that character over a little bit. And then I also like his interactions with his girlfriend. Like it's cute and playful. So I immediately like him. And I do want to bring up, because I looked this guy up and I'm like, I know this guy from a lot of stuff, which this guy works. Like this guy is constantly working. But the thing that I recognize him the most was, remember Juwanna Man from like the 2000s?
What?
The guy dresses up like a woman, a female, but he wants to play basketball, so he dresses up as a woman so he can play in the WNBA.
Spell it.
Juwanna. So Juwanna.
Okay.
Juwanna Man. He's the lead. And I was like, because I've always, I think, confused him in my head with Arsenio Hall, because they have a very similar vibe. And so I've always just been like, oh yeah, it's Arsenio Hall and Juwanna Man. But no, it's demon / spider.
Definitely Return of the Living Dead in this because he plays the same guy.
Yeah.
They're actually, it's funny. What I think of the most besides those two, my third movie is actually Street Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've always loved that movie. Not that it's good, it's terrible, but I'm just like, that's one of those like really bad movies that I just always watched. So yeah, and I feel like he plays Space Spider in that,
Yeah, I would pair. I mean, and they're all video game adaptations. I would pair Street Fighter and Super Mario Brothers and Double Dragon and Mortal Kombat. I pair them all in the same category of not good, but so entertaining.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoy the first 90s run of video game movies because it was the Wild West of how that was done, and nobody really knew what the fuck they're doing. And I really do appreciate how awkward and weird each one of those movies are. Although I think Mortal Kombat would be the least. I think that was the closest to trying to do something decent. But yeah. I mean, I also love that they got like a fucking what's his face? Oh my gosh, McLeod. I can't think of his real name right now, and I love the actor, so I'm being an asshole.
Christopher Lambert.
Yeah. Well, okay. I know that's how it's said in French, but in every trailer it was Christopher Lambert. So I'm gonna stick with calling it Lambert because that's how they called him all the trailers in America. And I know it's not his name, but I'm not changing now.
That's so funny. I as a narrator, I always had to very much pay attention to pronunciations of things because I mean I still deal with it with Gal Gadot. Because that's her name, it's Gal Gadot. But even some of her creative people will call her Gal Gadot. And I'll like watch these behind the scenes and I'm like, it's Gal Gadot, sons of bitches. It's like, come on.
Well, poor Lambert. But yes, either way, the title into that is I love the guy and I love the fact that he was right in. And that to me is a big reason why the 90s are great is because it's just nobody really cared. And I kind of appreciate it. But But tie it back, Mr. What's his real name?
Miguel something.
Yeah, he's got new. Oh wow, there's a lot of
Miguel Nunez something. Yeah, Miguel A. Nunez.
A lot of stresses on those letters, and I don't know how to pronounce. But charming as hell, and he should have been in the movie more. Actually, I would say he's probably the best actor here, and he's barely in it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think he is fucking awesome. I mean, the whole, ooh, baby, hey, baby. Like, he sings a whole song that they clearly didn't have any rights for any song, that then they're just like, just make something up.
I like the little doo-wop, so I was kind of happy with it, had that vibe. That, like, 60s, oldies 104.3 thing.
Yeah, it's fun. And it's also, though I do think it's hilarious when it always stands out to me after the girlfriend gets murdered and her body like falls outside of the what is it? The toilet thing. Porta potty. There we go. I was like, there's a word for that. The porta potty. And he like opens the door, sees her, and there's like a quick zoom in on her and you can see her breathing. She's supposed to be dead and you can see her breathe. And it's just like, come on, Steinman, do another take. What is the world are you like? That's the kind of stuff that when you're like, what makes a good director? It's not settling for just the first take of, yep, we got it. Yep, we're good. We're good with this.
He's a porn director, so he's looking to shoot fast and quick,
Grab her tits. That's the only direction he knows.
It's like, he's like, no, your knee down. You gotta put your knee down. We gotta see it,
That's the only thing he cares about is like the sex scenes. And I think that even the actors said that they were very much on their own. But then when there's a sex scene, he's like, I'll give you some direction.
This is what I was born to do.
Well, and then Demon gets killed, which I like the death. I like the concept of like the spikes going through. But again, that's not Roy. That's Jason's strength.
Yes, it's constantly Jason's strength. And it crescendos. Or is it crescendo? Is it crescendo? Crescendos. When he blows up the fucking door coming through at such like a high speed. So that along with exactly. Is that paramedic going to be able to take that rod and jam it through that porta potty as good as you can? No. Is he going to be able to snap a stick? No.
He also takes a machete to the stomach that is quite a deep gash, and then he's like standing straight up afterwards, where it's like, okay, you would be like, like bent over just a little bit. It's like, come on. But then there's also a funny part. It's technically between, because they cut away from Demon and then come back to Demon later to get killed. But there's a funny thing where Tommy interacts with the incel dude. And he's like, my mommy's going to chop you up to itty bitty pieces. And then he proceeds to call Tommy a fucking lunatic. Like, did you not just hear yourself? Like, you said your mom's going to cut him up into pieces. How the fuck do you think that he's the crazy one?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, those are the two characters. I don't actually know how people feel about them. I never liked these guys as a kid. I think I've grown more to like them as an adult because it's really hammy. But I always felt these two characters made no sense. Like they're not like he's playing, you know, his mental state is annoying to me.
Yeah,
and she's
but
annoying.
This makes sense. It makes so much sense the more I look back, where I'm like, yeah, I mean, technically, New Jersey has the Appalachians.
Oh, yeah. And those are. I had a friend. I'll tell a story offline, but he had buddies out there, and it was like when he went with his buddies to visit his parents who like lived up in those mountains. He was like, I was scared. Like I was polite and I kept my mouth shut, but it's like they could make you disappear up here and nobody ever fucking know. And I was like, oh, so you're right though. It does have those types of people, and I do appreciate more because they do ham it up and it adds to, like you said, the sort of boisterous nature of part 5.
Yeah. And I will say, I mean, the only reason I enjoy them is just because of just I like bad stuff in terms of enjoyment level. They're off, like they can't act. They're hammy. They're over the top. But that's kind of what I want a lot of the time in a slasher film. I want entertainment. I want to have a fun time. I want like there's a bit of, and this is a recent release, but the new Thanksgiving. Like one of the problems is that the acting is actually fine. So then the characters are just so unlikable that then, where it's just like, I want a little hamminess. Like the characters are so like dumb that like, I want some bad acting to then like amplify that a bit.
I don't know. I'm going to disagree slightly and say that what I actually really liked about that movie is they actually made everybody such a piece of shit that you're really on the killer side almost the entire time. And everybody was like, kind of like, I would argue though, I felt like, maybe not enough, but I do feel there's a little bit of cartoonishness to like the jock and, a couple of the characters. They just seem to be a bit, I mean, probably not as much as you're looking for, but I do like that everybody's just an assoul. Like the
one kid who's like, I'm gonna go play football. And he's like, I'm gonna play anyway. Like there's no one to play against. So I don't care. Like whatever the hell that exchange is.
It's funny. I would actually argue that I thought Tim Dillon's security guard character was the most like reasonable person in the whole movie. We're just like, how the fuck out of here.
Immediately, he immediately recognizes like, oh, I'm in danger. I'm getting out. Like that is, yeah, he's the best character in the movie.
Yeah. So, and having him obviously is the joke of it because he's a happy man. But either way, characters, I agree, they're not good. But as I'm older, they absolutely add to the story, and I would not want them removed or played straight. Like this is the cartooniness that actually makes 5 fun.
Yeah, and like the incel just like anger riding his motorcycle while his mom just yells at him. Like those moments are fun. I love it, and I always love decapitations like this. They do a similar one in Silent Night, Deadly Night, where it's just like it's great. You get that first person view, and then like the knife comes out. There's so much. It does so much of the work for the visuals. Like you don't have to see as much to then know exactly what happened.
And the head looks decent. But I love the decapitation where like the head does a little roll or moves, you know, like obviously some guy just throws the head on the ground and they film it. I love that editing sequence of decapitation. It's my favorite. It's like a very 80s schlocky thing where it's just like, blood comes out and it just fucking rolls. I'm like, it's perfect. You know, chef's kiss.
Yeah, that works. It works so well. Every time it happens, I'm always just like, it doesn't seem like, I'm sure they had to cut stuff for the MPAA, but it still works. Still works. So now we get into pretty much this is just, we've talked about it in the past, just boom, boom, boom kills from this point on until we get our chase sequence. So we got Jake coming on to Robin. This is like the guy that doesn't really even get much of an introduction until he's then flirting with Robin. And it is absolutely brutal. When I was a kid, this scene used to make me so uncomfortable because I don't do good with just uncomfortable moments. No. And every time I would just be like, no, just don't say it like this. Be making love. No, I want to make love. No, don't say it. I want to make love to you. What? Whoever says that? And then combined with her just laughing in his face, like, I feel it every time. Every time.
The actor does a good job, though, of really pulling off the awkwardness, though. I'll give him credit. Like his movements are making me uncomfortable, like kind of looking at it. And it's like, it's not connecting. It's not connecting. It's like, I'm the same way. I can't watch dating shows or anything like that because it's like, that's me. I'm like, I can't. That's like breaking toenails or poking eyes. That's the same shit. I'm like, I'd rather be dead. And she just goes upstairs and then goes topless. You know, he doesn't, not with him.
Yeah. She seems to have a little bit of regret where she's like, she even like talks shit to herself, which of like, oh, you dummy. Like, Robin, you big dummy.
Yeah, she has her own awkward moment.
Yeah. So I've always wondered for that, it's like, is it her just feeling like bad because she shouldn't have treated him that well, like that poorly, like shouldn't have reacted that way? Or is it her being like, shit, like I wanted to get laid. Like I shouldn't have reacted that way because I wanted that.
I mean, it would make more sense if it was more that she was upset that she like laughed at him, but her doing it topless makes it seem like she's regretting it because she wanted to get some. So it is a bit contradictory if you think about it.
Well, and then do you think, because I guess I had never picked this up. I've always just thought that he was going to try and vent to Violet about what happened because he goes to Violet. That's the girl with the
crimped hair.
Crimped hair and the mole in her face. That I had never until kind of this viewing viewed it as he's just trying to then go sleep with Violet, or he's just like trying to sleep with somebody. It's like, what's your interpretation of that? Because I still think it's him wanting to vent to Violet.
Yeah, because he doesn't make any effort to, like, his mannerisms are different with her. Like, he's not trying to put any moves. It just seems like he's talking to her. So I never got the vibe he was trying to sleep with her. Because then he, like, it just, I don't know. It's not set up to me like that. I could see, I guess, that, because he got shot down, he might be horny, but they don't film it in a way that makes sense to me. It just means he goes like talk to her and then that's a quick scene. He walks out and gets killed.
Yeah. I think it really just, again, shows that there's some poor direction in this where certain things aren't clarified, because it would have helped, I think, make even just layer the movie more of like, oh, okay, Jake has a friendship with Violet, he leans on Violet. Oh, he's trying to get laid. Because that was one of the things I love about part 2 was, oh, this guy's trying to get laid with this girl. He's like, oh, this person's interested in this like, you knew the dynamics at play. In this one, they try and throw some dynamics, but it already almost feels like it's too late because this is the first time we're really seeing what Jake and Robin really interact outside of being in the same scenes together. And
you said earlier, and I'm going to reiterate what you said, but you're correct that there's no directing the actors in this. Like the scenes are direct, the blocking is correct, and I think the blocking is really well. But no, you're making a valid point, which is the material is actually there, but the director isn't directing the actors. So the director either A, doesn't care or doesn't know the dynamics that are there. I don't know which one. I don't know if it's out of ignorance or out of laziness. I can't tell.
Yeah, I mean, I would say ignorance. Based on watching some of that stuff, it seemed like he had stuff he cared about and that stuff he didn't. Of like, that's not even on his radar.
Yeah, he's here to show some nudity, get some kills, and call it a day, which is fine.
Yep.
It delivers on those well, but no, you're right. There are things that could have been fleshed out more, and her giving that speech naked. It's like, okay, well, I'm all for a boob shot, but then it complicates. Like, well, it doesn't actually answer anything. Now it just makes everything kind of weirder.
Well, I should say that Juliet Cummins is someone that because of this movie in particular, I was always very much a fan of, but she's hardly in this movie. And then getting to discover in my late teens, early 20s, Slumber Party Massacre 2 and Psycho 3, where she actually has a little bit more
Psycho
of a character.
3, she's the phone booth girl. And I know you mentioned...
And she gets naked in all of them.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember... I'll be honest, I don't remember her from Slumber Party Massacre 2. But I know you've told me in personal time, in our own conversations, she's in it. So I'll have to give that one another watch. It's been a while. I'm more surprised the girl from Wings is in it. That was like my big thing when I was a teenager, but maybe I'll recognize her. I'm sure she's one of the girls that goes to the cabin, one of the friends, right?
Yep. I will tell you right now, because I actually have the 4K.
I see all your posters in the background.
Yeah, I have the poster. Lance and I record these through Discord, and so we have video going. So you can literally see a Slumber Party Massacre 2, and that is Juliet Cummins is literally right there. So it's like she is even in the fucking poster and everything.
I gotta see that one more because I always thought that out of all of them, that was the one that was the fun of the watch because it's like Andrew Dice Clay with a drill guitar.
It's so much fun, so much fun. I recommend the whole reason I bought the 4K was because I was like, how the fuck can these movies be on 4K? And then you watch it and you're like, oh my God, that's the best I've ever seen them look. That's amazing. Which is why I would like for Friday the 13th to one day get a 4K release, but they'll probably do it in the same fucking bullshit style that they did the Halloween releases, where it's like individual.
Yeah, I can't do that. And maybe if they get it from the negative and stuff, I'll get a 4K. But if it's just an upgrade from like a Blu-ray, I don't know if I give a shit. But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't. This isn't a good-looking series. I mean, it never has been. Even the best-looking film, Part 6, it's still like I've Blu-rays enough.
I agree. I think they look as good as they're going to look. There's no need to go farther. It's just going to make them look worse, actually. We'll start going back around.
Yeah, it's like I want the Elm Street series on 4K. Those movies are visual spectacles. Like, give me those in 4K. I don't care about Friday the 13th in 4K.
No,
more grain on night shots, or less grain on night shots. I don't care.
Yeah, they'd have to fucking smooth them out. Yeah, no, leave it alone. But then the girl walks around naked for a while, even after she gets her like little speech to herself. And so let's give the guy some credit.
Yeah, another reason to like her. Yeah. Big fan. And then I like her death is good. It's the callback to the Kevin Bacon, that style of you getting grabbed from beneath and then getting pierced with something. Which, like I said earlier, they have shots on the IMDb from, it appears to be some kind of uncut version that then actually shows blood squirting out. I mean, there's nipple prosthetic there, so they did everything with it. Which also says to me this poor girl had to get a life cast.
Oh, she's fine. She's making money.
Dude, as someone that like just a little claustrophobic, I just feel bad whenever I see anyone has to do those damn life casts. Those seem miserable.
Yeah, that I could check.
Yeah.
But
then the next we have, because Robin gets killed, and then it goes like right to Violet. As Violet is dancing that song. I never know what is being said, but I always have that like no 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 no.
It's just
every time.
It's crap. It's crap. I've never liked this type of music, but it fits. I guess it's. I mean, what do we say? This is supposed to be like 98 or some shit. It's pure 80s. I love it.
Yeah, pure 80s. I mean, I like it. It's not music that I would listen to in my free time, but it's absolutely something that
it fits the scene.
Cracks me up.
That's the scene for sure.
Yeah. Fits the 80s in general. I like that kind of absurdity. It's the same thing with different like Trick or Treat, that film from the early 80s.
I'm not a fan because the music is so bad, but I know people love it, so I'll end it there.
Well, see, you're wrong about the music. That's what we've just established.
Yeah, that music. Yeah, okay.
So then they further put suspicion on Tommy by having all of the dead bodies being found in Tommy's room, which, okay, I mean, I don't really understand why Roy did that. Like,
how did Roy know it was room? And also, that means Roy's acting again like Jason Voorhees because he's setting up art pieces.
Yeah, doesn't make a whole lot of sense when you think about it. It
means he also had to drag a bunch of bodies up the stairs, and like the amount of core and upper body strength that requires.
No, all the bodies that are in the room are already upstairs.
But
it's Violet, Robin, and Jake.
Oh, I thought there was like extras. All right, well, my bad. But either way. He still had to fucking drag him to different.
Yeah, I still had to drag him around.
Yeah, there's still heavy lifting. I mean, that's really what I'm trying to get at here. Is like it takes a lot of effort to do this, and
especially when you think two of the bodies were already in one room. They were already in Robin's room because Robin sees Jake's. She like turns over and Jake's dead body is there. And she gets
he had
killed.
To go in the top bunk, get two bodies out, drag them down, drag them out.
Yeah,
fucking.
Meanwhile, all he would have had to do was just drag Violet's body and put it in Robin's room.
No, you wouldn't get the same look though with a bunk bed. You'd have to look up. It has to be like that low angle. So when you walk in the room and then the lightning hits.
Yeah. Well, and there's no reason for Reggie to be looking for the others. Is like he would still look for him, I guess, because like where are people? But for this one, it's like he's specifically looking for Tommy, so it makes sense for him to
go to Tommy's room.
Open Tommy's room. I will say too, the third act really shows how bad of an actress that Pam is. Her reactions are just the worst. I think outside of Alice, she's my least favorite final girl.
I mean, I never even knew her name most of my life because that's how generic she is. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I like Reggie more.
Dude, Reggie's Reggie the Reckless.
I know, but I'm saying like, I love that he's still like essentially half of the ending of the movie. It's him in the girl. But I love that he's in it. I love that, like, because usually the kid would be, hiding or run out somewhere. He wouldn't be like next to it. Like Tommy Jarvis makes sense because we're setting up the main character. This is a side guy, and I love that he's just always around.
Well, and they do seem to be doing this thing with, it's almost like them being like, okay, well, this is what happened in the last movie. We had a kid and a blonde white lady. So we're going to have a kid and a blonde white lady. And, we're going to switch it up. We're going to be progressive this time. We're going to make the kid black. But we're going to kill off his entire family during the movie. Well, and I remember, too, they had mentioned that the plan was to bring back both Pam and Reggie for the next movie. But then when John Shepard turned down returning, they're like, well, we don't want to have the connection to the last movie because the last movie wasn't liked. So we're going to just still have Tommy, but we can do a soft reboot since it's a different Tommy.
Setting up a Tommy-esque Jarvis thing. Even though this kid should be more messed up because Tommy Jarvis didn't lose his entire family, I really hope if they start making movies again, the thing I would like them to do, I know the fan film has done this a couple times, but I don't like fan films. It's not my thing. I'll be honest. I respect that people are doing stuff they love with this. I don't care. But I would love to see them bringing back like other characters like this, like bring back Reggie. I want to bring back Tommy, played by what's his Matthews, which again I know was in the fucking fan film, but that doesn't mean anything to me. Yes. But the point I'm trying to make is I think if we come back, we should start bringing back surviving characters from other movies. This is the one series where I would like it to be a universe because they mostly all connect in some really clanky way. It'd be fun.
Yeah, there were the rumors for years in the 2000s where it was like, oh, bring back all the survivors, bring back Jenny, bring back Chris, bring back Trish, bring back Tommy, like bring back all these people. But then I do think that we're a little bit past that now with just legacy sequels have now made it where I know the people, it's like a negative where then it's like, really? They're doing this nostalgia grab like anytime now, which I think the big example of that was Exorcist Believer. Because it's like, the worst part of the movie is the callback with Ellen Burstyn and Linda Blair.
Well,
so it's like...
Also, I want to give it what's that? I actually really liked it because it's really, really bad. I like it as so bad it's good, but the Texas Chainsaw one on Netflix. I forget the full name.
It's just called Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, because I knew it was like they always take something away or add something. So I was like, is it the S? Is it the whatever? But the point is they brought back Sally. And I like it again because it's so bad and so dumb, but like they completely just ruin her character. And it's like, yes, the reason people don't like it is because they rarely do it well. And so, we're at a point now where like these people are actually a little too old. But if we did it right now, we'd be fine. But it's not going to happen right now because the rights are just now settled and it's still awkward. And they fucked it up so much that nobody's going to be excited. It's going to be like, they're just going to ruin all of them again,
Yeah, and one thing with the Sally thing is that, they brought back, it was a different actress, and then they just kill her. So it's like, okay, if you're going to bring back some, like, you're not even going to bring back the original Sally Hardesty, you're just going to bring back the character and then just kill her off, where it's like, really? Come on. That seems like a slap in the face to fans.
I agree.
It'd be like killing off Laurie in Halloween 2018.
They fumbled it pretty badly, but they fumbled it so badly that I actually think it's awesome.
I will say I have not watched that movie since it came out back in, January 2022.
I don't know, something about it. When things miss that hard, a part of me is like fascinated by it. That is a good example of like all the cards were in the spot where you could have done something right. Like it was as early enough for people who weren't like suspicious already. It's modern. You could be bloodier. You could be more violent. You just had all the opportunities, and to fumble everything so badly. It's one of those things. That's my favorite part of movies where it's like, I can't believe you guys fucked this up.
You love it because Leatherface is Jason Voorhees in it.
Absolutely. I'm always very pro turning every other killer into Jason Voorhees. I've been very clear about that. Yeah. That's my standard.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Now I can just, whenever I have to give you some kind of recommendation for like a slasher, I'll just think like, how much does this person act like Jason Voorhees?
Just unstoppable monster that has no physical limitations. That's my kind of slasher,
Yeah, I agree, which is why having Roy as doing this makes no sense because he does insanely inhuman things in the third act with the whole breaking through the door, which bursting through the door.
The door blows up.
Bursts. Yeah, that door is just kindling after he walks through it. But then the whole machete across the stomach just bugs the shit out of me.
And he gets up and he keeps walking to the barn.
And it's the first time I've realized how much I hate this Jason performance. Which, yes, again, it's Roy, but I hate it. He's not Jason in any, like, he's so stiff. He's walking like he's doing the slow walk.
It's Michael Myers.
It's like, no, you should be running.
He's
Michael Myers.
It's Michael Myers Jason.
Yeah. I would agree.
I don't,
and especially we got
hate it,
hulking.
but-
We got hulking Jason in the last ones, and even going forward, we'll have him. This is just like little teeny Jason. Like,
I mean, the guy,
he looks like he's like 5'8".
yeah, his shoulders. He needs to do some lat pulls and get that back a little. I mean, yeah, he's a tiny man. You know, I don't hate it as much just because it's a guy killing a guy in a hockey mask. I'm a little more okay, but you're right though. At least coming off part 4, where that was the most energetic Jason up until Kane Hodder, this guy takes it real like low key, and it is kind of like shit, come on, man.
Yeah.
Even in fighting,
they really,
you know, it's clunky.
Yeah, well, and they really lean into it being Tommy to the point that when they then revealed that, like, we see Tommy. Oh, they're in the same room. It's clearly not him. But it's not until that moment that they suddenly are comfortable showing Jason having like human mannerisms. Once they then do the reveal, it's not Tommy. That's when suddenly we see like Jason is acting more than just like this stiff board. Or it's just like, what? That's bullshit. That's bad direction.
Yeah. Well, again, them busting through doors to me is just as dumb. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What? You know, but yeah, exactly. Because he keeps getting hurt, and the little chainsaw and the machete, like he takes a little bit of a second, but he gets right back up. And he does have that sort of like you can't stop me energy, which he's just like some 51-year-old dude or 45-year-old dude. You know, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's like it seems like an add-on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you said, your theory makes a lot more sense to me. Where they cut out a shot of them looking at the graveyard because they realized that I don't know, they lost some sort of right. Who knows? And that's like, oh no, it's Rory. It's like, yeah.
I mean, it sounds like when they filmed it, they knew that it was awful. So I can only imagine why they didn't then. I mean, it had to have been a time thing of them just being like, we can't change it now.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, these are, you know, wham bam thank you ma'am shoots. These aren't anything quick. I mean, it's in and out. So yeah, I bet. Which is fine. I mean, now I feel like I'm being more negative on it, but I want to re-stress that I thoroughly enjoy this. You know, it doesn't always work, but it's not. But this. And I was one of them, gave this so much hate when I was younger that now I want to be like, man, I couldn't like look past the one fact that it's not Jason and enjoy the rest, you know, which I will say though, I've gotten fights because people said the same thing to me about Jason Goes to Hell. And I don't feel the same. And we'll discuss that when we get to Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, same. I'm not I think you and I might actually watch Jason Goes to Hell together, because it might be, I think the timing is going to work out where I'm going to be in Florida when we do that one. So it should be an interesting one. But I also am like, shit, that might finally get me to enjoy it, watching it with someone else and talking shit about it during. I
mean, I don't know, man. That one's a personal one. I don't know. I remember being really angry. But that also has good kills. But we'll get into it. Let's not.
Yeah, I still hate it.
Yes.
But yeah, and the Roy reveal here is super weak. But at least I do still like the ending with Tommy, like, and it being hinted yet again that he's taking over for Jason.
Yeah, in the hospital in the rain and stuff like that.
Yeah. They do a fun and then because they even do like he's looking Jason in the eyes, and then Jason fades away. But then from that moment on, there's like a meanness behind Tommy's eyes. And,
it's him.
Which I love. Like, but then again, the fact that they don't follow up on it, it's like, come on, guys, follow up.
And if this did well, or it was received well, they might have, but you know, it's that same shit where it's like Halloween 3, nobody likes, and Return of Michael Myers. This doesn't do well. Jason Lives.
Yep. Yeah, thank God, because I'm glad we were able to get Jason Lives, because I love that one. But before we end this, we need to rate the film. So I also, before we rate it, I actually want to go back. I want to retroactively change my part 3, because I rated it at 3 stars, and I think it needs to go down to 2.5 stars.
Okay.
Because it's just, yeah, because the main reason I did it was because this feels like it doesn't feel like it's only a half or a star different or half a star difference between 5 and 3. So I had to gain some more ground between them. I would rate this at 3.5 stars because I put this on the most of any Friday the 13th. I mean, and that could just be the fact that I'm, finally got bored of 6 and 4 always being my go-tos, but this one I love the whodunit nature, even though it obviously you know who it is, but it just works really well. It's more stylized than any of the films other than like any of the prior films other than, I don't know, part 4 maybe. Zito did a pretty stylish job on that, but otherwise, I mean, I talk about a lot of my issues with Steinman come from the performances, but in terms of what he's actually showing, there's a lot of good shots in this movie, and it doesn't feel like the daylight scenes and the night scenes both feel competently done. So I like it.
I would agree on that, actually, that, yeah, his directing is fine. Performances I never really noticed until you start talking about it, but it's like, yeah, I mean, because I just never connected to anybody, but you're right, though. There are things in here that they could have played more. Killing off one of the best actors in the porta potty in the movie was weird, but obviously the director didn't realize who the strong actors were. I'd give it a 3. Yeah. I'm going to give it a 3. I think it's a solid entry. I like it a lot. I used to hate it, so I've come quite a long way. I can't give it any higher because it doesn't have Jason Voorhees, and that, it's like I can't be. I have to draw a line, but I like it more every time I see it. It is definitely one I've watched more in the last, I'd say since the set came out, I think is when like my rebirth of it came. It's like I liked it a little more, I think, in my 20s, but having all of them in good quality, I could appreciate it more. So
yeah, I'm right there with you. This is especially the Scream Factory edition it's a wonderful transfer, and it looks just it's the best it's looked. I still have my old DVDs, and it's funny to see the differences between the two because it's pretty night and day sometimes. But yeah, I think that this pretty much does it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, any of that stuff on wherever you're watching or listening to this podcast. We really appreciate it. Leave a review. Any of that will help. And yeah, hopefully at some point we'll have did we already establish an email for this? This needlessly nostalgic at gmail.com.
We may have, but we do talk a lot. So I think it's something we should bring up at the end of each episode. How about that?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, needlessly nostalgic at gmail.com. Make sure to send any, recommendations, what you'd like to see us do on the channel, because otherwise we're just going to be doing what we think you guys want to see, because we this is mostly just us having fun, and hopefully you guys enjoy our nonsense, because this is now the second episode in a row that we've gone almost 2 hours. So I hope that you guys enjoy.
Yeah, we'll focus more going forward.
This one was pretty damn focused, so I'm okay with it, but we'll see. We'll see how people react to it.
I feel bad for the editor.
Yeah, I'm the editor, guys. All right, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.